Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for clicking this video. So today I'm coming in with a final review and a Q&A from my recent group cruise, Groupcation 2024. We were on the Carnival Spirit from Seattle sailing to Alaska. So the lovely Miss Amy, as always, after I come back from a cruise, she sends me some questions. So I'm going to answer her questions and then also just sort of talk about the cruise and give a final review of everything. So hit that like button before we get started. Let's get into these questions. Okay, so like I said, this was my annual group cruise. It was the 5th group cruise that I have hosted, and 37 of us traveled to Seattle and went to see Alaska. It was such a great time. Groupcation is always a wonderful vibe when everybody gets together and have a great time. So that part will always be the most favorite part of any group cruise that I do, is just the friendships that form, you know, that bond that solidifies us so much, and that togetherness. So let's get into these questions. Number 1 says, when did you actually decide to book the Alaska cruise? How far in advance of your cruise date? I knew 2 years before that I wanted to book Alaska. So I knew in 2022 that I wanted to do Alaska in 2024. And we booked it out about a year or so in advance. I always announce my group cruise during the group cruise that we're on. So I knew that I was going to announce it in 2023 so people would have a year's time. So I had it booked in because I'm like, I can't tell people to come on my cruise if I'm not booked. So I never announced the cruise until I'm officially booked on it. But we had about a year in advance notice that we were going on the Carnival Spirit. Number 2, did your process for choosing an Alaska cruise differ from the way you choose your Caribbean cruises? No, the only thing that was different was going to be like which cruise line to go with, because I know Alaska, they only cruise certain months of the year. My group cruise is typically always now in August, so I know I wanted to be around that time to keep sort of that across the board. People know, you hear Groupcation, oh, it's going to be like the 2nd or 3rd week in August. I did look at some cruise lines. I was trying to compare prices. I always try to get the most affordable that we could get, and at that time the Carnival Spirit was the most affordable one that I thought would be okay for people, because some of the other cruise lines were just a little bit more expensive. And I know the vibes of Carnival and I know the vibes of Groupcation, and I wanted it to sort of still have that same type of party vibe that Groupcation is known for. Even though we were going to a more relaxed itinerary, I still wanted it to be fun, and to the point where I know how Carnival operates and stuff like that. So that was one of the main reasons why I chose the Spirit. All right, number 3, how far in advance did you book your airfare? Was it more or less than you thought it would be? Did you check a bag or carry on only? I did not book crazy far in advance. I booked probably a month or so before. The price was actually a decent price. I really thought it was going to be crazy expensive. Everybody's like, oh, it costs so much money to go to Seattle, traveling cross country like that. I thought the price was good. It was less than I thought it would be. I will say that. And I did do a checked bag because, being the host, I had a lot of stuff to bring with me. So I had a checked bag. I had 2 checked bags, actually, a carry-on and a personal item. Like, every bag I could take is what I took. But coming home, it was a little bit different because I didn't have as much stuff to bring back with me. So it worked out that way. But every bag that I could take, check, carry on, I did. Number 4, with the exception of warmer clothes, how did preparing for your Alaska cruise different from preparing for a Caribbean cruise? I think I checked the weather more often just because I was getting so many mixed signals about how the weather would be. So that took a big part in the preparation. I also did a little bit more research of what you could do I was paying attention more to the excursions that were available because I know that, you know, the time in ports were limited. Not to mention, I've been to the Caribbean a lot of times. So, you know, typically with the Caribbean, I'm just happy to go to a beach and relax and maybe do a little tour or something like that. So I was trying to pay a little bit more attention to what was to offer in Alaska at the time frame that we would be there. Number 5, what was the one Alaska port and activity you were most looking forward to and didn't meet your expectations? I was looking forward to the Juno Port because we wanted to do this farting around Juno. I heard so much about you got to go get the duck fart and all the other farts. So we were very excited to go to Juno to try out this fart tour. And also because we wanted to go to the Tracy's Crab Shack. I wanted to try Alaskan crab legs for the first time, the king crab, and I was like, oh, I'm in Alaska, I want to eat Alaskan crab legs. So I knew all that was in Juneau, so I was very excited for that port the most. The farting around Juneau was a bit disappointing because we went to the first place and you get the little passport card and he stamped it and we all took our shot and we're like, great, let's go to the next bar. And we walked down to the next bar, it's closed. So we're like, okay, so now we're looking on the card. There's another bar. Oh, let's go to that one. And it was closed. So the bars weren't opening up until later. And, you know, the group, everybody didn't want to wait 2 hours for it to open up. So we didn't get to finish. We did get to try 2 different fart drinks in Juneau, but that was it. So that part was disappointing. The Tracy's Crab Shack was great, in my opinion. It was less expensive than I had been told. People had me saving a couple $100 thinking I was going to have to spend all this money, and it was cheaper than I thought it would be. The crab legs were great. The vibe of the restaurant was really nice. So that part of it, I got what I expected, so I was happy about that. Number 6. Was there something you did in Alaska that wasn't as great as you thought it would be, and you wouldn't do it again if you went back? So no, I think aside from the farting tour thing, but now I kind of know the time. So if I went back and wanted to try the rest of them, I would know to go later. But overall in Alaska, we did 3 of the farts. So I kind of know what it's about. So it's fine now. Number 7, if you went to Alaska again, would you go the same time of year or would you cruise earlier in the season? I definitely would like to go again, and I think I want to go earlier in the season. I didn't get to see the wildlife and things like that, and honestly, I really didn't get to experience the cold, and I know it's crazy, hate being cold, but I was going to Alaska. I was ready to be chilly and crazy cold, and we was there apparently during the best week where it was hot. No rain, no nothing. So I think I would go back earlier in the season where I have a better chance of seeing a little bit more wildlife and experiencing the chillier weather. Number 8, what did you like most about Alaska? I loved the views. I loved the scenery. It was beautiful seeing the mountains, seeing the glaciers, randomly seeing whales. The air was so crisp and clean. And just watching the water during the daytime, it was really chill. Later in the afternoon and at night, it was a little bit more wavy, so you got to see the ocean really, you know, kick up with the waves and things like that. So the views, the vibe of it all is what I loved about it. Number 9, what did you like least about Alaska? I didn't get to really see a whole lot of the animals and stuff like that, so I didn't like that. The locals weren't as friendly as I thought they could be, so that was a little bit disappointing, but other than that, it wasn't bad. Number 10, how did you like Seattle and how did it compare to ports like Miami, Port Canaveral, and New York City? The Seattle port, it was okay. Walking up on the gangway was a bit tiring, so that part wasn't the best. Their gangways were just kind of real rocky and cranky and things like that. But other than that, the port was nice. Walking around, seeing Seattle was a nice vibe. That was my first time there. But other than that, it didn't really compare too much to the other ones. It was nice. Number 11, what is your next cruise? Do we have to wait for Greece or are you going sooner? Yeah, so my next cruise as of now is the Super Bowl cruise hosted by Life with V Veronica. She's hosting Super Bowl at Sea, which is in February. So if you're interested, you can reach out to her, lifewithvtravels@gmail.com. So I'll be on that. That's a 3-day on the Carnival Glory out of Port Canaveral. So thank you, Miss Amy, for your wonderful questions. I hope I answered everything in a clear enough way. But then again, overall, as I was saying, of course, Groupcation was such a vibe. We had a great time. I would say I enjoyed the Carnival Spirit. It was a great ship. I like the Spirit class ships. It was upkept very well. They had wonderful activities that you could do. I love the shows, trivia. They had different activities you can do, the stage show. Make sure you check out my playlist if you have not seen the vlogs. We did Family Feud, a few other group activities like a bar crawl, slot pull, all those fun things. So make sure you check those out. The cruise director, Alex, was really great. We had a fun time with him. And if you know Groupcation, we spent a lot of time at the bars, and we got to know a lot of the bartenders who were all awesome. The staff on Carnival was really great on the Spirit. So I have no complaints about the ship. I think there was probably like two or three meals that I was not crazy about. Other than that, the food was good for me. I can always find something that I enjoy to eat. Blue Iguana is always good. Love Guy's Burger. Pizza spot, you can't go wrong with the Quattro Formaggi pizza. So food and drink wise, I was completely satisfied with. It was good for me. There you have it. Not a big review. Overall, it was a wonderful cruise. 10 out of 10. Definitely recommend Alaska if it's a place that you've always wanted to see. I have announced that there will be no Groupcation for 2025. We will be back in August of 2026. There will be an announcement. Be on the lookout for that sometime in December. Now is a perfect time to subscribe to my channel and turn on those notifications so you won't miss out when I do the big announcement for Groupcation 2026. So see you guys in my next video. Bye.